Hi everyone, welcome to the 12 o'clock channel. Today we will be looking at the 2022 King Seiko release from Seiko, a watch that opens up a new price category for Seiko, as well as bringing back the King Seiko line. The King Seiko line of watches was introduced in 1961 as an alternative to the Grand Seiko. The King Seikos were produced in the Seiko's Daini factory, where the Grand Seikos were produced by the Suwa factory. The new King Seiko 2022 release and the limited edition SJE083 introduced in 2021 are inspired by the 44-990 model, which is part of the famous 44KS line that started in 1964. If you are interested in a deep dive of the King Seiko history, I will highly recommend kingseiko.info site. With that historical connection in mind, let's take a look at the new 2022 King Seiko release. As you can see, the case of the 2022 King Seiko bears a very close resemblance of the reference 44-990. It comes in at 37mm in diameter, identical to the original. The lug-to-lug distance is 43.5mm, also an exact match to the original. The lug width is again mirroring the original at 19mm. However, the thickness has increased from 11mm to 12.5mm to accommodate the automatic movement. The case shape of the 2022 King Seiko is a near carbon copy of the 44-990. The trademark masculine and angular lugs, the box-shaped crystal, and the thin bezel are all faithfully reproduced, although the lugs are now brushed on the top and sides rather than all polished, and the crystal is upgraded to sapphire. Turning the watch around, you will be greeted with the same closed case back with the familiar King Seiko medallion, except it is no longer in gold. The similarity to the original reference extends to the dial. Like the original, the dial is dateless. This particular model here is the SPB281J1, which has the vertically brushed silver dial. The applied hour markers are simple patterns with exception of the 12 o'clock marker, which is a double marker with diagonal crosshatch pattern, faithfully representing the original. The multifaceted patterns are highly polished, giving the same sparkly presence as a Grand Seiko hour marker would. The Seiko logo at 12 o'clock is applied and is lifted off the dial via small feet, giving the illusion of a floating logo. The same trick is also found on the Grand Seiko dials. The text at 6 o'clock denotes that this is a King Seiko and an automatic movement, and the text has the exact same font as the original reference 44-990. The hands of the 2022 King Seiko is similar to the 44-990 in shape, but quite different in execution. The hands in 2022 model are faceted dolphin hands, much like the original. However, they are triangular in cross-section, with a ridge in the middle, where the original hands have a rectangular cross-section with chamfering that brings the edges to a razor-sharp point. The hands of the original are also brushed on the top and polished on the sides, where the hands of the new model are all polished. The difference in execution results in the new hands looking less detailed than the original. My guess is that the original execution for the hands are now reserved for the higher-priced Grand Seikos. The signed crown is a push-pull type that offers 100-meter water resistance. Pulling out the crown, one click will allow time adjustment. There is no ghost date position, as this watch uses the 6R31 movement, which is a dateless version of the 6R35 movement. This brings us to the biggest letdown of this watch, the movement. 6R movement is a workhorse movement from Seiko. It has been in Seiko's mid-range watches, ranging from 1,000 to 2,000 Australian dollars. So it has proven itself to be a reliable movement. There is also no problem of using a workhorse movement in this price bracket, as many similarly or higher priced Swiss watch brands uses a workhorse movement in their watches. The problem lies with the perception of the King Seiko branding. The original King Seikos are seen as high-end Seiko products where accuracy was paramount, and therefore high-end movements such as the 45 caliber high beat movements were used to achieve this. The use of 6R movement in the 2022 King Seikos is more or less seen as a downgrade for the line. Given the price point, the use of a higher-end Seiko movement is probably unrealistic. However, tighter adjustment of the 6R movement would have been acceptable. Unfortunately, Seiko chose to leave the movements inside these watches stock standard, with the same accuracy of +25 and -15 seconds a day. The bracelet of the 2022 King Seiko is definitely the highlight of this watch. The bracelet is a 7-link bracelet with a butterfly clasp. It is all brushed with exception of the polished chamfering for each link. Although the original King Seikos came on leather straps only, the new bracelet integrates with the watch case extremely well. The angular links echoes the angular lugs, and the thinness of the bracelet is befitting of the retro vibe of this watch. The bracelet is also a joy to wear, being extraordinarily flexible and light. One thing to be mindful of is that there is no micro adjustment for the clasp, so you might not be able to find the exact fit. Overall, the 2022 King Seiko is an extremely close reissue of the King Seiko reference 44990. In terms of wearability and feel, it captures that vintage King Seiko feeling very well. The fit, finish and material of this watch is definitely an upgrade. With even and precise brushing, razor-sharp edges on the case and bracelet, it further accentuates the angular lines of the 44KS case. The only letdown of this watch is the movement, where the spirit of the King Seiko, which is to achieve a high level of accuracy, is a bit lost with the use of a stock standard workhorse movement. However, I'm willing to overlook that, as the overall package is very well put together, and it is an excellent reintroduction for this legendary line of watches. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. I highly recommend this watch, even with its letdowns. With 5 different dial variants to choose from, I'm sure you will find the right one for yourself. Anyway, please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.